Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us tmosso@the1916company.com. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for inquiring about the price of this, the availability of this, the condition of this, or any of our watches. So reach out to us, tmosso@the1916company.com. Today, we're discussing what may be the most distinctive Patek Philippe design launch of the last half decade. Certainly the most distinctive since 2011's 5235. This is the 5212A-001 Calatrava weekly calendar, a combination of a beautiful stainless steel case with tiered and tapered lugs, a weekly calendar dial design, and a handwriting style font with off-white base and blackened white gold dial furniture. So there is a lot going on here. It's 40 in diameter, it's 11 thick, you can see from lug tip to lug tip, 48.9 millimeters with a fairly standard 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. I'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and it wears nicely, being neither too broad nor too flat. You can see how the lugs taper down and around the wrist. I'd recommend this for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. The cuff shot showing that it will slide easily underneath the cuff, and then down the barrel showing that I do have quite a bit of clearance on both sides of my wrist, and that despite holding the strap down fairly tightly over the top. This always exaggerates the width of the watch, so take it with a grain of salt. This is your true angle right here. Strap, alligator leather. You can see large rectangular scale, brown, slight gloss finish. We have a sheer cut side, we have a monotone stitch, and then on the bottom, conventional calfskin. This is a brand new Patek Philippe strap, no crimping, no gouging. You can see that well right here. And it uses Patek Philippe's latest pull tab spring bars, so you can pop the strap off with just your fingernail. There is a stainless steel spade style and faceted polished pin buckle to match all of this. And I like the little central spine down the pin. It's a handsome little facet. It speaks to the attention to detail that you find everywhere on a Patek Philippe watch. You can see there's a little bit of countersink to the crown too. It's not completely projecting from the side. It's actually embedded into the case a little bit so it doesn't stick out obtrusively. The lugs are beautifully tapered. Everything's of high polish. You can see there's a beautifully sharp break between lug and case band. The case band has a curvature to it. There's a little bit of a step between the case, and then the bezel is a sharp conical profile that adds a lot of visual strength. We have pusher adjusters for some of the calendar functions. The date can be set with a quick set. We have a slightly boxed and cambered sapphire, and then the dial with a number of concentric tracks. Outermost, we have the month. Inboard of that, we have the week. Inboard of that, we have minutes and hours. Inboard of that, we have the day of the week. Now you can see that everything that is applied to this dial is blackened white gold. So we have these multiply faceted dart style indices. Then we have faceted Dauphine hands, a counterweighted Lancet style seconds hand, and by the way, this was the debut platform for the 26330, Patek's first standard automatic hacking caliber. And we have these lovely little varnished indicators for the calendar functions, and I'll demonstrate to you some of the fonts that are employed on the date. So you can see the idea here initially was that a prototype of the dial was drawn up by a Patek Philippe employee, and they liked the way the handwriting looked, so they actually stuck with it for the production model. So that's the genesis of that. The only part that doesn't look handwritten, Patek Philippe Genève and Swiss made. I would have liked to have seen them go all the way and make even these things handwritten, but maybe the logo itself is sacrosanct. Taking a look at the case back, Patek Philippe does a better job of, for example, Audemars Piguet, Glasuta Original, Cher Le Culte, and Zenith, of blending hand finish with machine finish. Now, on a lot of those others, it's quite obvious that machine finish predominates, and that's also true for the likes of Moser and F. Pigeon and a lot of chic independents. Whereas here, you can see the bevels are genuinely beautiful. They're undoubtedly started by mechanical means, but they're brought to a lovely rolling curvature with a mirrored finish, circular stripes across the rotor, linear across the bridges, engine turning on the rotor center as well as the base plate. We have a lovely grooved snailing on the outside of the rotor, a polished rotor center over the bearings, and then black polished screw heads with chamfered slots in circumference. Now this is a unidirectional winder with ceramic bearings, because those two features make it more efficient than bidirectional with steel bearings. We've got a 4 Hz beat rate, a free-sprung Gyromax style balance adjusted in 6 positions, which is the gold standard for a chronometer or a high-grade watch. We have an anti-magnetic Spiromax hairspring. This is an extensively anti-magnetic watch. At the time this watch was made, Patek was attesting to the accuracy of the watch as being velocity, no worse than -3 plus 2 seconds per day, so very impressive on that count. And you can see that the bridge profiles are attractive, the movement is worthy, and all of this is water resistant down to 30 meters. Though I recommend, despite Patek's recent claim that 30 meters is a true 30 meters, I still consider this to be a splash and rain exposure only work. It is, after all, a Calatrava. Reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details. In case I did not mention it, power reserve here 45 hours.